Well. Podcasting people, podcasting world, welcome to Silly Conversations. I know some people, they listen to the first 30 seconds and then they leave. What I'm going to do is give you the main deal for those people who only listen to the first 30 seconds. And then for the rest of us, you'll hear the meat and veg. So, what do I mean by the overview? The overview is using something like AI, ChatGPT, or Google Gemini to do the following things: create conversations that you can interact with the AI. We can use it to simplify text, upload it, and then it can simplify the text. You can use it to help you with reading and listening for specific information in a document, etc. If you really want to knock yourself out, you can ask it to generate a story. Thank you for listening, and goodbye. Now, for the rest of you, let's get to the meat and veg. Silly Conversations, the podcast. Your host, Denzel Mills. Podcasting people, podcasting world, welcome. Again, another silly conversation. It's just me this time. No friends, no guests, no nobody. No nobody. No nobody. I don't know if that's right. But anyway, it's just me. But before I start, I was looking at some of the matrix things. I don't really look at this, so I'm not really sure what it's called. And I can see that I have some listeners, not just here in Valencia, but around the world. Okay, around the world. I do have a listener. Maybe it was by accident, but I do have a listener. I have a listener in Florida. I don't know who it is. Thank you, Florida listener, if you continue listening. I also saw that I have somebody in Jamaica. It's got to be one of the brothers or sisters in Jamaica. They're probably there, drinking a rum punch or something by the beach and listening to silly conversations. Again, whoever you are, if you continue to listen, thank you very much. And then I'm talking about international, hey, baby. And then I've got Mar. Remember Mar, who's the marine biologist who's in Saudi Arabia. And she listens regularly. I'm sure she'll listen to this with the new shop that she has in her campsite with the Cadbury's flake. I have a friend from London. Now, she's not Spanish, but she also listens to the podcast every now and again. I should start paying. I should tell my sisters to listen. I haven't told them anything. I should tell them and get them to listen as well. And then there's a few people who are here who are regular listeners because they always ask me a question or comment on something that I've said in the podcast. So Fernando, he's a regular. He's an IT person. And he always kind of makes a little comment or talks about something. So Fernando, thank you very much. Emma, Elena, and Pilar's friends, they're also regular listeners. Emma, when she's traveling to work in the morning, and Elena between her breaks, I'm sure she listens then. And Pilar, who's quite new, and she's incorporated one or two friends. I don't know the friends, but hopefully they continue and spread the word like the gospel. And we can be big in 2,000 years' time. Now, there are various Marias and Miguel who are real people who listen as well. So the various Marias who have been listening, either ex-students or current students, thank you very much. I made one fatal mistake. I forgot Lola. Lola is like listener number one. Lola, listener number one. Thank you for listening. Let's get into this whole thing of using AI, artificial intelligence, like Google Gemini AI or ChatGPT AI. I thought rather than just keep saying AI, artificial intelligence, or Gemini or ChatGPT, I think I'm going to use a name. Originally, I was thinking of the name Dave, but I think we're going to use the name for the AI as Bob. So, Gemini Bob or ChatGPT Bob. So, Bob is the name we're going to use for the AI. People sometimes have said to me, "Oh, Denzel, with AI, you're going to lose your job." And I say to those people, "No seas gilipollas." Well, that's what I think anyway. Maybe I say it. Well, that's what I think. I'll lose my job if I don't take advantage of Bob in the correct way. I'll lose my abilities or capacities if I don't try to attach them to how AI, Bob, remember Bob, how AI can actually help me do my job and help the people I work with learn and improve and have abilities or facilities to practice. That's how I may lose my job in that way. But there's one thing AI can't do. AI can't do me. And that's true. So, the idea here, people are starting now their summer holidays, their summer break. People are finishing courses that they may have had in company, they may have had with an academy, or they may have had with their personal, private English teacher on their yacht or whilst they're playing golf on the golf course. Now, I'm not saying I have students who have a yacht and they ask me to give classes on the yacht. I'm not saying I walk around the golf courses giving classes, but I'm very close. Very, very close. I forgot to mention Christina. She always plays golf and she listens to me. So, Christina. The other day, she told me, well, her husband, they told me that you need 16 golf clubs, 16 clubs to hit a ball. 16. I mean, that's a lot. It's got nothing to do with Bob and learning, but I just think it was a lot. I was surprised. Back to the point. So we can use Bob to help us improve certain things. And the things I always like to focus on is our comprehension, listening comprehension, the listening skills, and also our communication skills. Now, it may be a little bit more difficult to have a communication skills or fluent communication skills with Bob, but there is a technique. And I want to explain a little bit of how we need to feed Bob, not with hamburgers, with information. How we feed Bob the prompts so that the AI can deliver the type of information, the type of activity that helps us improve our listening skills and our comprehension skills. We can also use Bob to help us with certain things like pronunciation. A lot of people still have difficulties with the pronunciation, and English pronunciation, just like for me, Spanish pronunciation is difficult with certain words. Things like the past participles, you can watch as many videos and things as possible, but maybe paying attention to the listening, the way an AI generated voice, not a Bob, an AI generated voice can help you improve those past participles, you know, the KED, PED, CHED, that you know that sound is always like a t, watched, looked, talked, etc. That's the most I'm going to talk about grammar in this podcast. That's it. So it can help you that way. What are the things we can do to get Bob to help us? The first one, which I've actually practiced a little bit and you'll hear. So we can go into Bob, ChatGPT Bob, or Gemini Bob. Both of these you can have on the phone. Both of these you can have on your Mac or PC. We can go into Bob and ask it to generate a role play about some scenario that you may find when you are traveling. It's very important that you actually direct Bob in the correct way. So, something like, and you can do this in the written form, you can do it in the spoken form by dictating to Bob. And believe it or not, you can do it either in English or Spanish. But the key thing here is you're asking for the results to be in English. Just like I could do it in Spanish, but for me, learning using Spanish, I would ask for the results to be produced in Spanish. You say to Bob, this is the scenario. I'd like you to create a scenario or a dialogue between two people at a train station, in a restaurant, at the airport, at the bus stop. Doesn't matter. The dialogue should be in English. The dialogue should be at this level. So if you're B1 level or B2, you say a conversation between two people at the train station for a B1 level student. Also, it's very important to say the conversation should be a natural, simple conversation using British English, American English. If you're a more advanced student, if you want to maybe look at the business aspect, you can ask them to make it more formal conversation, informal, business-like, etc. I did an example, so we'll listen to the example and we'll pick it up after this.
Excuse me, is this the train to London? Asked Maria, her voice a little unsure. Yes, it is. You're in the right place, replied Tom, with a friendly smile. Are you travelling far? Only to London. I have a meeting there, Maria explained. Do you know what time it leaves? Tom glanced at a nearby screen. Looks like it's departing in about 10 minutes from platform 3. So, you have a little time. Platform 3, okay. Thank you very much. Maria said, relieved. No problem at all. Have a good trip to London, Tom offered. You too. Maria replied with a grateful nod, heading towards the platform.
Of course. To check your understanding of the conversation, here are a few questions. Who is traveling to London? What platform does the train depart from? How much time does Maria have before the train leaves? What is the purpose of Maria's trip to London?
Here are the key words from the conversation. 1. Train, central to the setting and topic. 2. London, destination and goal of the journey. 3. Platform, important for locating the train. 4. Departing leaves, indicates time and urgency. 5. Meeting, reason for travel. 6. Excuse me, polite way to start a question. 7. Thank you, politeness and social interaction. 8. Trip, refers to the journey being taken. These words reflect the main topics: transportation, destination, timing, and polite conversation between strangers. Great! Here's how you can practice the pronunciation of each keyword with tips and example phrases in a standard British accent, plus audio-style guidance. 1. Train, train. Tip, stretch the A sound like in day. Practice, I'm waiting for the train to London. Say it like train. To London. Tip, the second syllable is soft, almost sounds like din. She's going to London for a meeting. Say it like London. 3. Platform form. Tip, emphasize the first syllable. The or is long and rounded. Practice, it leaves from platform. 4. Departing. Tip, the R in the middle is like the British ah sound. The train is departing soon. 5. Leaves. Leaves. Tip, the ia is a long e sound. End with a soft viz. Practice, it leaves in 10 minutes. Say it like Lee. 7. Excuse me. Tip, the skews has a skews sound. Excuse me, is this the train to London? Say it like ik skyuse me. 8. Thank you or thankja. Tip, in casual British speech, you often sounds like yeah. Say it like thank ya.
But I think with a little bit of work and practice, you can actually refine the pronunciation, or you can copy the text and you can put that text into text to speech software that you can find online. You can find loads of them online, and then get that text to speech software to read out that dialogue. Okay, and that will help with the listening skills. Another thing which I'm actually doing with a couple students, and it's a recommendation, is you can take, if you have a summary of a meeting, sometimes now some meetings or some classes are generating the transcript of that meeting. And that transcript could be 2-3 pages long with maybe comments from 3 or 4 other people. You could copy that transcript, or if it's a PDF, just upload that PDF into Bob and ask Bob specifically 3 things, or maybe 2, 3. First thing, summarize this document. So then you get a summary in a shortened form. Again, depending on your English level, your English language level, you can ask for the summary more detailed, less detailed, etc. The second thing you can do, you can ask Bob to highlight or identify the key points. And you can ask it to say, Bob, because we're friendly now, hey, Bob, Bob, give me the 10 key bullet points or 10 key bullet points about this summary. And the third one, so I knew there was 3. The third one is then you could ask Bob, whether it's Google or ChatGPT, you could ask the AI, ask it, not them, ask it, Bob, to ask you some questions about what you understood about that summary. So then that helps with your comprehension of complex text, normal text, etc. So this is a good thing you can do. And what I'm going to do is leave a link in the show notes of somebody who's an expert in teaching languages and teaching teachers to teach languages. This guy's called Russell Brand. And I'll leave a link to this specific one, how he uses ChatGPT to help with language learning. And he gives some good tips and good demonstration. It's a video. The third one you could use, I think it's the third one, you can use it to do some actual listening practice. Now, I kind of touched on this previously when I said you can use text-to-speech software. You may have something from a book. You may have something which is about particular professional skill, leadership, presentation skills, etc. And it may be the text. And what you can do is take that text and then put it into a text-to-speak, I can't say it, text-to-speech, there you go, text-to-speech software which you can get online. There's many, many free ones. You don't have to pay money for any of these things. And then basically you can get that to read out loud in whichever voice you want, a male voice, female voice, British English, American English, and read out loud and then check your comprehension. You could even imagine with a YouTube video, take the transcript from the YouTube video. So what you could do is get the link from the video. It needs to be a short video, 5-10 minutes maximum, and maybe in a monologue form like this. Put the link into Bob, ask Bob to extract the text. You get the text, copy paste the text, and put it into text-to-speech AI, and you have that as an activity you can listen to, and then see whether or not you understand things a little bit better. That's another possibility. The other one is pronunciation. I hit upon it. It's not hit upon. I talked about it. I talked about it. I talked about it a little bit earlier, where you can actually get it to help you improve your pronunciation. Words that you have difficulty with, Bob can help you do that, whichever Bob. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I think pronunciation, whilst it's very important to help you to be understood, it's just not my thing here, to be quite honest. One day I'll focus on that, but at the moment, it's not my thing. And then the other thing, for those people who are super creative, those people who, when they look at the clouds in the sky and say, oh, can you see the horse going over the sun and the little children following the horse in the field with the butterflies? For other people, these are clouds in the sky. For some people, that's the image they see. Those people can use Bob to create some kind of fantasy story. Again, you need to give the prompt. Bob, could you create a story about a crocodile who was traveling to Madrid by train and didn't have a ticket and then went to the Prado Museum to see the Goya exhibition? That's the prompt. If you do this, I'll be amazed. That's the prompt. And Bob will generate a story for you. So you could, it's a strange idea. But Bob will, Bob will generate the story for you. And I would love to know what story Bob generated for you, because that would be something very surreal. And that could make your summer holiday. Another thing which I haven't done, but I know a couple of students of mine, they're actually using Bob to generate exercise plans. One person who's trying to prepare for a marathon, half marathon, and he asked ChatGPT, Bob, to start him on a training program to help him get started. And now he's moved over to a proper trainer. And another person who's going to the gym. Now, you know me, I am going to the gym. There is another observations of a gym goer coming soon. Okay. And you know, I might ask Bob to generate an exercise plan for me. I doubt if I'll use it, but I might ask Bob to generate an exercise plan for me and then tell you what the result was in the next observations of a gym goer. I might do that, but I have one student and she has used Bob to do that for her. So, my friends, just to wrap this up, there are 1,000 things, more than 1,000, 2,000. There you are. More than 1,000 is 2,000. Well, technically speaking, more than 1,000 is 1,001. But there are 1,000 things you could probably do with Bob, whether it's Google Gemini Bob or ChatGPT Bob or any other Bob that you may know of. And you're there, you're at the beach, at your beach house, because some people have beach houses. You're on a cruise, because or the yacht, not just the cruise, you're on your yacht. Some people have yachts. Or, like me, you'll be here, stuck at home with the heat, and you could use Bob to help you generate some activity, which is 15, 20 minutes. You don't have to do all this in one day because it will keep a record of what you've asked, and then you can go back and visit and update and improve. Tell me, my friends, tell me, was it not worth listening to the whole of this podcast? So, those people who left early, you've missed out. You've missed all the good stuff. You're probably listening to something else and getting no benefit. Now, if you come back and listen to this podcast, the early leavers, nice of you to come back. Nice of you to kind of get the good stuff. Because this is where it is. This is where you get the good stuff. My friends, use what we have around us to help us improve in the languages that we're learning. Help us improve our skills of how we use AI to make it work for us and help us. I did a podcast episode just using AI with some of the methods I spoke about here. It was called Preposition Man. Now, you probably didn't listen because you're not going, yeah, Preposition Man, que guay, yeah, muy divertido. I know you didn't do that. So you can go back and listen to Preposition Man if you want, or you can go and try out some of these ideas whilst you're there on the beach with your martini, 3 olives, your pina colada, or your spritzer, or whatever drinks people drink, and try out some of these things. I'm going to leave you now. I'd like to thank you for your time. I'd like to thank those regular listeners who give me some feedback. And if I did forget somebody who's a regular listener, next time, this may be the last podcast for the summer. I'm considering it, apart from observations of a gym goer with, Bob. We'll do that one. And we'll see. We'll see how I feel. Enjoy your holidays. Enjoy the summer. And as they say in other languages, adieu. I think that may be French. Alles klar. This is German, but I think alles klar is like everything's okay. I don't know any other languages. Let's just leave it like that. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Silly Conversations, the podcast. And hopefully you continue to listen and spread the spread the word to the world. And hopefully by September, maybe 60 million listeners. It's a potential possibility if people take lots of drugs. I'll leave it with like that. Silly Conversations, your podcast. Bye. The voices and the names have been changed in this podcast to protect the wicked. For any grammar, information, or correction, please ask someone else, not me.